great judgments. And these 4 great judgments, we don't have to do nothing but just be ourselves. Be a righteous Muslim. You don't have to go and buy us a pint of whiskey and shoot dope. I have seen Muslims so drunk off, sad they was Muslims in Detroit, so drunk off on dope they didn't know who I was. That's right. I was standing in the door of my store one time when I had the little store there. I was standing in the front of it, and a brother come by me, and he says to me, he says, where is some brother name he called, I didn't know him. And so I says, I don't know. And he said, you mean to say you don't know where yet? I said, I don't even know him. And I says, what you got anyway? He had a package of cigarettes in his hand. I said, what you got anyway, in the way that you look, brother? I said, you don't want nobody to see you in the condition you in. I said, you should throw them cigarettes away. I said, they're no good for you. So, he being one time taught by the messenger they was no good, he threw them out right in front of the door. I said, now you can't throw that others away that you got in you. So if you do, you kill yourself. So he took his teeth out. Should I throw them away? I said, you better keep them. You might need them this evening. I said, you keep them. You might need them this evening. Can everybody hear me back there? Good. So my dear brother and sister, let us not throw Islam down because of 1 or 2 people. I think the majority is the rule. If we didn't have but 1 inch on our ruler, we couldn't say we got a ruler, could we? Because we ain't got 1 inch on it. We don't find a ruler with 1 inch. We find 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. You don't find them with 1 inch. Now, the ruler in it is a sign of God and the messenger all the way through it. The rule that we measure with, the whole 12 inches. So it talks about everybody from 1, the first God comes about, 2, his messenger come on, 3, and so on and whatnot. It talks about everybody. It talks about you at the end of it, being the 12 tribes. And in its teaching, talking to you and I, it tells us much. Just look at that rule and look at the work that the messenger did, and you get some knowledge that'll knock a man down with it, just with the rule. So, however, as I say, of us uniting together, every organization, everyone that say they are using the name Islam, whether he heard messenger or not, whether he was here or came from Africa or Asia, and say he used it and he's a Muslim, we can ask them, well, if that's true, then why do you go against me? Remember, there are Muslims don't want to be Muslim with you. There are Eastern Muslims don't want to recognize you There are black Eastern people don't want to recognize you. I'm sure you heard the messenger speak on the prodigal son, which is a good token and sign of us leaving our home and coming back. Good sign of us. That is also leaving our knowledge and going back to our knowledge. And when we got our knowledge, then the other brother, he don't want it. He gets angry. Tells his father, said, listen, as long as I've been here with you, you never killed a fattened calf for me and my friends. Said, now he been away. He walked away from me. Now he's coming back here and you telling me to kill the fattened calf for him. He left us. But listen what the God says. His father was acting as the God, as the messenger have taught me. Listen what he says. He once was lost, but now he's found. He once was dead, but now he's alive again. And he added on to what this son should do. He said, you go kill the fattened calf and go and get him some clothes and put on him because he's naked. Now how did the messenger said, how did the father feel about him going away and giving him this money so that his portion, giving it to him? How did he feel about it? The messenger said he knew that this son was coming back because all the while his father would go down to the bend of the road and looking for his son till finally he saw him coming. That's you and me. The messenger taught that. That's us. But if people teach it differently, they are adding to it. And the messenger taught me good to never to add to what he is saying. So if you add to it, he says you'll be caught at it. I don't add it. I don't add it. And that's right. Many things the Master Farad have said to me concerning adding. No, don't add to it. If the person don't believe you, walk on away from it. Okay, you don't believe what I said? I ain't arguing with you, man. You don't believe it. I'm just telling you the truth. That's right. Then after you tell the truth, you can forget about it. But if you tell them a lie, you can't. You got to think of something to cover that lie up that you put in the truth. Then you'll find yourself giving all lies and no truth. That was taught. So, brother and sister, I could sit a long time with you. I wish someday to come back to you, meet you again. So if you have something that you want to ask me, some question, if I know it, I'll answer it. If I don't know it, say, you know, brother, I don't know that. No, sister, I don't know that. So if you have anything that you want to ask, this time you can ask me if you wish. I think the brother in the back was about a second first.
Yes, Salaam Alaikum, my name is Brother Earl Gates.
Walaikum salam, Brother Earl.
And my question is, I'd like to know, how did Master Farad Muhammad come to America and how did he leave?
How he came to, how Master Farad came to America and how he left. He came on a ship, and I forget now just how many days it taken him to come here. He told us that he came 9,000 miles to America. He came on a ship, and how he left, I don't know. All I know, I just didn't see him no more. That's all, how he left. I never asked the messenger how he left. I didn't ask him that because since I was not the messenger, I figured that I'm trying to pry too much in his business. But he told me this, that he talked to him whenever he got ready. That clear now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Brother Sapam, I hear a lot of people saying what the messenger said that the Muslims should do in this day and time. But there's one thing I would like to ask you, is did the messenger say that we would be leaving America? And if so, how would this take place?
That we are leaving America?
Yes, sir.
No, you can leave now if you want to. You got, Master Farad came to America when we couldn't go nowhere. Now you can get a passport, same as I have, and plenty more have passport. You can get it, get your visa, go anywhere you want to go. And if you want to stay over there in that government, if they'll let you and you got enough to take care of yourself to the time that they prescribe for you, stay there. Because who's going to come here and get these people? You got people here that I wouldn't even take around the corner. That's only taking them across the water. You understand me?
Yes, sir. The Savior said that he would return, but did he ever mention what he would do when he returned?
Yes. He says that when he come back, he would not play Santa Claus. No. Santa Claus is a false man, ain't he? So he said he wouldn't play it when he come back. He says everybody will know who I am. Next, brother, Master Farad didn't talk about himself too much to other people. His talking mostly was to the messenger. So the people who speak about what Master Farad Muhammad said should be a person that have heard what he said or heard what the messenger said and use those words, because Master Farad didn't tell nobody that he was going to come here and pile a ship full of people and take them back to Asia. He didn't tell us that. He told us we could go ourselves, and we can. I was going to go to Africa a couple of years ago. I'd never been in the East. I go by what those went there and seen and heard and come back and told me. I'd never been, but I had the chance to go a free trip to Libya. Gaddafi was going to give me a free trip to Libya, but I couldn't go. And the reason, well, I was glad that I didn't. Now, it was about as many people was going as it is in here. But that was not a seat for me when I got my news. And nobody wanted to give up a seat. And I was glad I didn't go because they had to stay a week longer. They missed their flight. And they had to stay a week longer before they could get their flight back to America, back to wherever they was going to change to. And then on top of that, I took with a cold. And I didn't want to, I wanted to be I wanted to be sound if I go that far. And so I was glad that I didn't go. But I had geared up all harnesses to go. But, no.
Excuse me, Brother Minister. I want to address the floor for a minute. When you address the minister, please use the greetings to him before you ask your question, please. That's what I want to. Salaam Alaikum.
Thank you, sir. Wa alaikum salam. Well, I thank you for that as an honor. I don't look for honor. I meet that all the time. So I don't look for a person to, just a minute, brother. I don't look for a person to come and say, yeah. I'm not going against you. That is the way of Islam, what you say. That is true. But I don't look for a person coming, put me up high. No. I was put up high when Master Farad Muhammad came. Just like you, he put us all on an equal base. We all was dumb, had no sense, and he taught us some sense. And those that didn't learn, shame on him. That's right. Let us just be good and treat each other right. I didn't get the last word. Anyway, you was talking all the way too low. How did he came into it?
Yes, sir. Because I have heard when Muhammad stated that he stayed with a family on the West Coast. He stayed there.
Oh, he had been here before.
Yes, sir.
Before making himself known.
Was it from the East Coast or the West Coast he came from?
He didn't say to me.
Because then when you mentioned that, there was something in one of our lessons, English lesson C-1, where it said we could not swim 9,000 miles. You know, and I wonder was that going from the East Coast back to what we came from the West Coast?
That I never heard him say. When he said that we could not swim 9,000 miles, well, he said that he came 9,000 miles on water, and we couldn't swim the 9,000 miles. But now, because it's 10,000 miles altogether, but he always used the word when he was teaching that he came 9,000 miles. Now what side he come up on, whether it be east or west, I never heard him say. I never heard him say. Yes, sir. Thank you. This brother was first here, right here.
Salaam Alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Hey, Brother Baba Tundi, Abdullah. You had mentioned earlier about why the groups can't come together. Talking about major ones. Why the legals, why we have separation, I guess, as we have now. One, I'm speaking for myself. I cannot follow any group or work with any group of so-called Muslim or Muslims that do not submit to Master Prophet Muhammad and his message. And a lot of the major groups, even though they might use the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they're not teaching the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They're teaching their own teachings and making themselves gods. And I think that's why a lot of people here are not particular with any, per se, group that is known like that.
Yes, sir. Was that a comment or a question? Did you have a question? That would sound like a comment to me. Just a statement. Okay, thank you. Well, yes, sir. Wa alaikum salam. Speak a little louder.
I'm here to represent, my name is Kareem Allah.
Yes, sir.
I'm here to represent the Master Father Muhammad Muslims. And I have two questions, sir, I'd like to ask you.
Yes,
One
sir.
of them is, how old are you?
How old am I?
Yes, sir. The other question is that, what date and what month did the Savior start teaching the lesson in life?
What date and month? The messenger, well, he never told me what date and what month that he started teaching him. But he told me that it was in 31 when he actually was chosen. Because up until that time, there was another man that was representing Master Farad. His name was Abdul Muhammad. And he was there until 31. Now what the messenger said, it was cold. But he never gave me the direct time. At least I don't remember it. He never gave me the direct time of just when that he actually started. But I know it was in 31 because he said that. Now how old I am? Wait till all the ladies leave and I'll tell you. How old do you think I am? I'm young and ugly. Come on. 80. 80. No, sir, I ain't 80. No, sir. Do I look like I'm 80? No. Well, I'm not. I'm not 80. That's something, brother, I don't hardly mention. For one thing, I never think about my age unless somebody asks me how old I am. And I never had a birthday party. And my wife used to, when I come home from work, she'd have a little something other there, and they'd have little things around there for me, such as a tie, a pen, or, just something, little small gift for me on my birthday. And she asked me, she said, "Don't you know what day this is?" Well, I begin to look, when I see the little presents sitting around, I say, "Oh, this is my birthday." Yeah. Master Farad taught us about that. If you never think on your age when you is trying to live a long time, you will live a long time, and you will never have that on your mind about, I'm so old and so old, I'll soon be dead. Because we don't know the day of birth and we don't know the day of death. We had to be told the day of birth because we don't know that day. And if anybody tell you the day of death, it'll worry you to death. I don't hear you.
With the help of Allah, Savior, Master Father Muhammad, that in regard to where you were born, I was able to help of blessed, which is quite a few of us here to sit up and still Allah Muhammad speaks in that particular job. And I also met a few people that were familiar with your family.
Yes.
It was, they outright stated, and also the making job, people say, I knew this particular man, I just about the message, that he had stated. I can recall one lady, and I remember the fence, with everything.
Yes, sir. I got relatives here in this city. I got relatives still in Georgia. I don't know if any still in Sandersville or not. I don't know that. See, it's been so long since I was there. It's been 63 years since I was at my home in Cordia. Thank you. Here in the back.
Once again, did you express concern and unity of all the Muslims who identified with the teachings of the Honorable Muhammad, which he has taught us over 40 years, coming from Allah Master Muhammad? What do you see as the way that this can be accomplished? Maybe I can state what I see. I think it's basically the same thing that you have that what we were taught by the messenger in the way of white man, sisters have with UPT class, the flag of Islam teaching all of the literature. Is this the basis that you also see us come together once again in unity? I mean, I can see other than on those precise teachings and being successful.
Yeah. Well, it can be done.
Yes, sir.
The way that I would suggest, that's what you're asking me?
Yes, sir.
I would suggest that all of the Muslims who believe in the teaching of Messenger Elijah Muhammad and is following different leaders get on that leader. The leader is responsible. Get on him and tell him, says, why is it that we can't all unite together? This man say he's a Muslim over there and they Muslims over here, and here we is here with you, and we are not with neither group. And we all are black and all Muslim. What's wrong, Minister so-and-so and so, or whatever he might be? Why we can't unite together and have one leader? Ask him that. Don't be afraid, he can't do a thing in the world to you. You can whoop him. Yes, sir, ask him. I ask the whole. I ask all of them. You read this book here. I ask all of them. And two are personate. Y'all didn't hear. Now those two will never come together. To my belief. I'm not a foreteller or a fortune teller or foreknower. But to my belief, I don't believe them two will ever come together on each let one be the leader and he follow. They won't do it. Yes, sir.
Salaam Alaikum, Brother Minister. I would like to make this comment. This is the way I've been seeing it for a long time. They never was a body of people could come together before the leaders come together. The body is going to always be divided until the heads who leading these brothers come together. When they come together, that's going to bring the whole body together. If they can't come together, how could the followers come together? No way.
Yeah.
As you were stating, if leaders refuse to come together and leave the leaders by themselves, let the people come with the message teaching. And then they'll just be out in the room.
I can't hear you so well.
I'm saying that the only thing I can see other than waiting on the leaders to come together is yes, same way it was when the organized to the Christian churches left the Christian preaching and whatever they were teaching in the church. And we came on into the nation and built the nation. So if these leaders professing to follow the teachings of the nation, if they refuse to come together in unity under what the organized Muhammad teaches us, then leave the leaders by themselves. And once again, come on to the teachings of the Honorable Muhammad and brotherhood and sisterhood, and follow those principles and practices, and leave those leaders alone. No. That's the only other alternative that I see.
Well, that's what you have to get after your leaders about. If he say that he is a Muslim and teaching the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching, then ask Farrakhan, Silas, and WD, and the others, regardless of who he might be, and they are not together. Their people, ask their leader, what is the matter with us? We cannot unite. You is the leader, so are we asking you? How come we all can't be one Muslim like we was, and the messenger was our leader? So now he's passed, and look at all of these others that has jumped up now. And plenty of them was not even a minister or nothing in the Nation of Islam, and that I know. I know them, and I know every minister that was a minister under Messenger Elijah Muhammad. I know every laborer that he had. I checked them by his permission. Yes, sir. So ask that leader. Ask him what's wrong, brother. We following you. Come on, let's get together. Say, you see what the messenger said? Show him one of these books here. See what the messenger says? Oh, make a solid stone wall. You can't make a solid stone wall if you got a brick out here and a brick out over there, and you're going to put chewing gum to stick this brick and put tape on this one and put cement on the other one. That's not a solid stone wall.
I think this is my next part of your comment. Some, as we noticed, do have different portions of the message.
I can't hear you.
Some of these brothers do have different portions of what the message taught.
Move down the front just like the middle of Long Island.
Assalamu alaikum. Once again, I said some of the brothers do have portions of what the Elijah Muhammad taught, but they don't have it all. So I'm saying maybe that's one factor that's involved in people not being able to see clearly as to what has to be done. But from my understanding that we have to, based on what we came into the nation with, if we don't have all that in order, we still won't be successful like we were under the Elijah Muhammad. Which means, the proper way in which the MDT held their class instructions, the proper way for the FY class instruction, study of every lesson from student enrollment on down to the problem lesson. Because I believe when all the believers get these lessons, then they'll be equipped to deal with those leaders. But right now, maybe some of these leaders are holding their lesson back, or interpret them in a different way or something. I know maybe that's a part of the situation. But I believe one reason we could go to Savior's Day when the message was amongst us, brothers and sisters from California, from New York, all over. It's just like you knew people all your life because you were oneness of mind with the oneness of the truth. Until that's restored, I don't think we will have unity that we in this office talk about message Muhammad. That's my last comment. That's my last. Thank you.
Brother, uniting together under the crescent. We ain't got but one crescent. We ain't got but one flag. We don't have but one government. So now what's the matter? We got to have a gang of leaders. No, brother, that don't work. And it's not just say now. There's a sister, you on my mind. Ask your question. Just a minute. I'll come back to you. Ask your question. Alaikum salam.
I don't personally think I speak for all sisters, but I speak for quite a few, and I know quite a few. And I believe that the First Nation is in the home. And our homes are other than Muslim homes. Many, most of our homes. And the brother keeps mentioning MGT and the FOI, but until our personal homes are the kind of homes that build nations, it doesn't matter what we do outside of our communities because our homes are together. And if we as Muslim sisters aren't put in position to raise our families, to build a nation, it doesn't matter what all you get together, what all you talk about, what all you brothers sell, what all you brothers do. Because until these homes are together, we don't have a nation. And I'd just like for you to address that. Also, I have another question. I'd like to know, for an example, for a sister to look at, I'd like for you to share with us sisters what Sister Clara Muhammad's life was like, and how did she make it?
Sister Clara Muhammad?
Yes, sir. The messenger's wife.
She followed her husband. She followed her husband wherever that he went. When he come into the Nation of Islam, she come in. That happened with all our family. When my father joined the Nation of Islam, we all followed him. So the home will fall in line if the heads fall in line. That's the leader. Now, but I'm not speaking of the home, because we have already become to be a Muslim. And after we become to be a Muslim, now look at all of these other ones that's disunit, and they say they are Muslims, whether the house is full or whether the house is not full. We wouldn't take up the house there to put with the Nation of Islam and say that that is it. I wouldn't take it that way. I say if you believe with the messenger in his teaching, now let us all unite together and be one, like he taught us to be. That's the way that I see it. And the best way that I can see it is that if the leader does not lead you to unite together, well then that's that. But we got to do it if we want to be united together. Messenger says to us, he says that Master Farad did not just come here to teach us ourselves. He come to unite us. Is that clear enough? Ma'am?
I have another perspective. Thank you.
You have another question? Well, that's what I'm saying about the Muslims, not about your home. That's what I'm saying. All of us unite together. The little few that is real here now may have different leaders. Just as sitting here may have different leaders. Why not the leaders pull all of us together and say, listen, we all are Muslims. So let us all be one, like the messenger says. Unity under the crescent is all we need. Unity under the crescent. We are not having unity under the crescent and wearing the crescent, and still we are not with our brothers and sisters. I can't go against you and you say you're a Muslim. I can't say you are not. But if your word is just mere word, and then I don't see you trying to get together, then I don't think you're a Muslim. That's what Master Farad taught. No, a sister back here. Another sister had a question. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Salaam Alaikum.
Salaam
That's what I would like to make a statement. It's a pleasure to be amongst an elder who is brother to the messenger, also in the wisdom that you do have. My question is this. In the divine scheme of things, how does Atlanta fit in the picture? Because my observation is there's a lot of things that are happening that people are coming into Atlanta. And in terms of, there's a lot of things around the country that appears that is driving people here. And I was just wondering if the messenger ever discussed with you the divine scheme and the purpose of Atlanta in the whole scheme of things.
That's what I'm saying. He said in this manner, without the unity with self, then you will be destroyed in that. That's why your destruction will come if you are not in unity with yourself. It's unity that we have to obey and do. We can say most any other thing, but it's unity is the key. Unite and be one people. That is the key. And what if we always united together like we were before the messenger passed? Before he passed, we all was together. as they say that we all went to Savior's Day. Wherever the messenger would call us, we was there. But now, if you stand up in plenty of places and says, I'm teaching what the messengers taught, do you like that? And plenty of them, if you say, well, I follow so and so and so, they'll do just like that. No, you ain't right. I'm following so and so and so. I'm right and you're wrong. And they stand up and argue with each other. I have seen that in Detroit concerning myself. And the men got to cussing each other. Well, after a while, they just stand there, they start fighting each other. But that is not what we are after. We are after one leader, one religion, one flag, one people. And all the people must be black as a black stone wall under the crescent. Other than that, you can't get them. You can take even to the Holy Quran, you can take it and teach it all day long to these black people in America. See how many of them you're going to convert with it? Nope. Because it was not brought to you in the first place. Yes, sir.
I wanted to add one more item to that question. First of all, excuse me for not giving my name. It's a colleague Wahid Muqtadir Allah. Maybe I should make the question more direct. Do you see the Atlanta area as being that stone wall? The reason I ask that, obviously, something has to, physical proximity has a lot to do with unity. And I was just asking, do you see that, or was it related to you by the messenger as Atlanta being, because my understanding is that Detroit was the central spot at the time. That has fallen. Okay. The question is, do you see Atlanta as that new rising under the flag and that situation with the unity? Because there again is a lot of situations that seems to be drawing in this direction.
The messenger didn't teach as one state or one city. When he said a solid stone wall under the crescent, he was talking to the whole black nation in America, not just here. No. If that be it, then the other people ain't got a possible chance. But we all got to be it. All the black people in America got to be a solid stone wall. And the best way that we can get to all of the people in America to be that stone wall is that those who have heard the messenger and believe in the messenger unite themselves together and carry out what the messenger has taught us. Then we can go not only to Atlanta, you can go to Michigan, you can go all the way, just say from coast to coast with him, carry nothing but the messenger. Yes, sir.
Salaam Alaikum. I have a question. I want to ask the first question, and I want to make a comment behind your answer. Is the Nation of Islam a government?
Yes.
Well, if it's a government, and we establish the government where we can keep everybody in order. If we haven't established the government, how to keep everybody in order? Acting here is a divided nation. And it destroys itself by that. You've got to have rules, law, regulation, everyone carried out. Men who have these houses have election every so often and put these men down and you let them come back to business again if they hold their job long enough. They're like president. I think I heard the messenger say this several times, that Islam is set up like any government. The president, the head of the government, made that statement that you made a comment. It's one president. And if it's which Allah is known to us as king, he is with the king. Then all those who are elected office under him, see, he holds that high position.
for a length of time, then he's elected, re-elected, have elections every year. Once we get a government established, we don't have no problem with these leaders. They have to go. They'll be part of it. Salaam Alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Thank you. A government, all government has a religion. All of them. Regardless of what government you go in, it has a religion. Some governments you go into, they're hanging on to Christian religion, just like this one is. Some of them is Muslim, some is Buddha and whatnot in that government. But now, out of the 7 great religions of the world, only one God gives credit to, and that's Islam. The religion of Islam is the only one that is recognized by him. And if you don't have Islam, then you go with the rest of them. Yes, sir.
Do you foresee unity coming out of all of this confusion?
Do I see the end of it?
Do you see unity coming out of all of this confusion?
Yes, sir.
Did the messenger did the Savior of the messenger ever teach what will come about after all of this? Or what tool will be used to bring it to an end?
What would you use to bring it to an end?
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, unite. Unite, and you brings all of the confusion to an end.
Yes, sir. But is there an instrument you could suggest that we use to bring it to an end?
Unite. Unite. Unite together. Look. Why did you come here tonight? Because one man came here, right? And that was me, right? And I came because that I know that you is my brother and sisters. And I am willing to unite with you. And the same with all others, all over the country, all over the world. I am willing to go with you. That's right. Yes, sir.
With regard to what you were saying, Mr. Shah-Allah, the capital of our slave, the rest of our we who are master of have to bear witness to unity, because our religious structure goes to follow is taught by Message Life and give a military appears not to judge in the early 50s. This is what we practice and we teach. There's a very few of us, with the help of Allah, say, do the teaching of Message Life, as well as to follow the principles, as well as to restrict the laws. Practice of life, we have been successful with the others that went to that.
Right. You was, that's true. You was successful in building a nation. That was a time that I know wasn't a black man in this city speaking Islam. I know that. And not only in this city, let's go to the second city, Chicago. That was a time that there was no Muslims in Chicago following Messenger Elijah Muhammad. He had spent 2 years in Detroit. And Master Farad went to Chicago, and then he was the first spokesman there. That's when I said I stood at the door so long. I was there in Chicago all night long until when I sit down, my hands was even swollen from standing. Your hand will swell, you know, stand too long. And when he finished and come outside, the sun was shining. So I take those words that he left with us, that if we would just come together, you wouldn't have to fire a gun. You don't need a weapon to fight nobody. That's all foolishness, that we have to have a gun or sword to go out and fight somebody. That's all foolishness. Who could you fight? Master Farad said you don't know how to fight. And we don't. According to what's happening now, our people killing each other. And we got to unite together to stop that. We got to unite together to stop drugs. We got to do it because the president is about to okay drugs. And if he okays it, then what is our little children going to do? Go into school and find somebody with drugs. You couldn't say arrest nobody with drugs unless that you was making it your own self. The same as people bootleg whiskey. They bootleg the whiskey, but if the law catch him bootlegging it, making it himself, he go to jail because he ain't buying it from the government. And the government selling the same stuff he making. We can stop them. Enough black people together can rule the other portion of the black nation in America. Enough of them together. Look, we have never yet used our power. We ain't never did so. We have not had enough black peoples together to say that we're going to rule against the white man, other than the time of Messenger Elijah Muhammad. We never had that. Nobody showed their creative minds. Nobody. We have great men today, millionaire men, who could give to you enough money to start and operate your own government right here in this government, and this man would be glad to see you get out of it. Sure, if we just would unite together. They send hay here for the cattle, right? Send hay, some of the farmers, what I'm talking about. They are united. All right, how much do we send to each other? Brother around the corner doesn't be dying just about it for a doctor to come to him. We ain't got no hospitals and nothing that we can say belong to us as a nation of people. We don't even have nothing that we can say as a nation of people. The nation is a government. And all religions have a government. Now, why do they have a religion and a government? That's another question that the messenger told me. The religion helps the government by living according to what is right. If you didn't have a religion here called Christianity, why you wouldn't be you sure would go east or somewhere, you know what I mean, because the people would be killing everybody. They would have the 2 guns on their hips just like the cowboys. Sure, because he got no religion. He got nothing to say that freed my soul, like in the Christian church. We have Islam, the only religion, the only one that God verifies himself. We have that religion today, given to us by Master Farad Muhammad. And the religion that you have, that he brought to us, the Islam, is not at all Islam like the Orthodox. He brought us a new Islam. And what makes it new, the old Islam does not teach white folks as devils, right? The Orthodox, they don't take that. Teach that you is the original man, the God of the earth. They don't teach that. But Master Farad give you Islam and tell you, say you is the gods. You catch what I'm trying to get over to. So now, if you don't take that, then you have nothing. You're not in the new Islam. You're in the old something. See, Muhammad brought that religion to his people. He was an Arab himself. So he had to go to his people the same as Elijah come to his people. So the God that sent Muhammad gave him a book. So now, Messenger Elijah Muhammad took that same book that Allah gave to him, which is the same book, and makes a new people out of that book that Muhammad rises up an old people that he belonged to. Because they were sitting down out in the sand beds out there making little totem frog houses, putting the foot in there like we used to pat the sand over our foot and take it out, and there's the house. And then they fall down and worship out. But you are different from them, although they belong to you in your nation. They are people in your nation. Master Farad didn't allow Arabs in the temple. He didn't allow white people in there. He wanted you. He wanted the gods in there because he was the God. It's to learn Islam and to know it. What you have today, brother, we should be hugging every black man we meet around the corner. Come on, brother. But you can't do it because he got a different faith and says he's a Muslim too. The real Islam given to us. When you read one of these, what the Messenger says there about being black, that you should love it. It's right there. This little book, little pamphlet rather, I'll put the rest of it in there because of him having it. And I thought maybe that rather than try to give you another sheet of paper, I would run it off and give to you it all together. That is, if you don't have it. If you have it, then that's up to you. If you want it, that's up to you. But I'm not going to take them back home. I ain't going to take not one of these back home. Whether nobody here take it or not, somebody can take them and burn them up. See what I mean? When we first went to Chicago, you know what we carried? Lesson number 1. Lesson number 1. Why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? That was the lesson we carried there. All of the people that we see here, that's a fact that was given by Master Farad Muhammad, known as lead will not reach the bottom of any ocean. The meaning of that fact says lead will not reach the bottom of any ocean any nearer than 4,500 yards. That's it. That's the fact. Now, what is he talking about? He's lead spells lead, right? L-E-A-D. That's a leader, right? All right. Well, look at all of these people here, ocean of people here. And he can't reach the bottom of it. So when he planted Islam into our brains, it's out here now, just floating, like lead floating in the ocean. It's floating in their brain. So if we unite together, all of the temples that start uniting together, you'd be surprised how many thousands other people will unite with you. That's right. Because that's lead. They use it on ships to anchor the ship, to make it stand still. Because it's not hooked on to nothing in the water, but it's so heavy. The knowledge you have is so heavy that it just out here floating. See you. See sisters and brothers cleaning up, dressing like Muslim people, and they are not Muslim. Haven't joined the organization, brother. But yet, he's against all of the evil doing. And there's plenty of them. And there's plenty of people that speaks up for Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teaching. And they will speak to you and tell you, says, why don't y'all unite yourself together? They'll tell you that. They tell it. I hear it in every city I go in. And I have been from the west, north, south, and the east. They tell you that. Why don't y'all unite together? I have been on a taxi and one speaking to me about Wallace, not knowing now that that was my nephew. All right? But he was right. What could I say? I just listened at him and was glad when I got out the car because I was tired of hearing him cursing him out. That's right. So, brother, sister, unite yourselves together. That's it. I ask all to do so. I ask all the leaders unite themselves together and have one leader. I ask all of them. I'm not afraid of them. To ask them, I say quickly to them face to face. And if they want me, I will be their chairman. And listen at what they say and then give their decision that none of you is following Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Sure. I can use this. Just this little pamphlet here says black, and that you shall love it. Then I can use the Quran says that mere words mean nothing unless carried into practice. Plenty of ways you can throw it on them. Sure. Don't throw it at me. I'm for unity. I'm for uniting. I'm for unity. And I says that every Sunday in Detroit that I talk to my people. Unite, brother and sister. You know what? They are naming a street there that the temple is on in Detroit, which is Linwood. Now it's named is to take the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad on one end and Reverend C.L. Franklin on the other end. When the messenger passed before, Franklin did. And they didn't try to name the street after the messenger until one of the men in the council who began to fight it until finally he got it. So it's passed now. The street can be named the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Just so far. Other people's on the other end where Honorable Elijah Muhammad stopped at on the right side, they want to keep it Linwood. Linwood mean nothing. It wasn't named after nobody. When it was named, it wasn't named after nobody. And on the other end of Joy Road to Grand River, it's C.L. Franklin. He's a preacher that owned the church there. Well, he was very nice to the Muslims to be a preacher. We could go there and say, oh, Muhammad speaks. He wouldn't run them away like other churches would, run the brothers away from in front of the churches. So they asked me to give history of the temple. I stood in the school yard in front of the temple and give the history from the starting of Master Farad in short methods until they got to Linwood. A lot of people out there, they didn't know.
Assalamu Alaikum.
Well,